Alright guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. We got the CJ Cup here this week. Should be a pretty good event. It's not a full tournament field event, so as you guys know, I typically don't play that as much entries as I would typical of a full tournament field event. This just doing a quick recap of the year so far. It's been a pretty interesting one, just because we've nailed 3 of the winners so far on tour. Joaquin Niemann, Sebastian Munoz, and then Lanto Griffin last week. Just been a weird year for the player pools so far, just because it's tough to gauge with the new season, this new fall swing, kind of just how courses are going to be playing, how golfers are going to be playing, and what stats are true at this time of the year. But this event this week is going to be more of an interesting one because you don't have to worry about the cut. Especially with it, the cut being T65 and lower now, we don't have to worry about that. So we're really going to be focusing on scoring and players that can really go on and pop. Now, I typically don't like to play a lot on these non-full tournament field events because you really lose an edge player pool-wise. So, I typically don't like to play these too much, but it's been a while since we've had a lot of high-caliber players in one tournament. So, I might just play a little bit more than I normally would in these events. Let's go over the stat fits for this event. So Viktor Hovland, Justin Thomas, Andrew Putnam, Cameron Smith, and Pat Perez are all guys that are popping right now stat fit wise. Once again, still early in the season. All these guys, they don't have all the stats that we'd like to see. I'd typically like to see at least 3 tournament worth of stats, and I can't say that about all these guys. And that's also kind of why I don't use stats in the short term. I like to look at stats in the long term. I want long-term success in PGA DFS. I don't want that short-term success because that just creates kind of a roller coaster of emotions pretty much. You can have one really good week and you can have one really bad week back to back. I like to have a bunch of good weeks. So that's kind of why I look at stats in the long term. So, just kind of be weird about the stat fits right now. It's still early in the season. All right, going into course history here, though, these guys all have played really well at this course. Obviously, Brooks Koepka won it last year, Justin Thomas the year before that. It's only been played here 2 years. But other than that, Ian Poulter, Pat Perez, Jez Reavie, Rafa, and Jason Day have all had really good finishes in their 2 starts at this course so far. So those are all going to be players that, we're going to tease the idea of playing them. And the nice thing about the CJ Cup this year, it's relatively in the same time frame, so we don't have to worry about adjusting to the course at a different time of the year like we've had the past few events, like we've had to do for the past few events. Then just looking at recent form, Rafa Cabrera, you guys will see it later on in the video. He has been tearing it up mostly on the European Tour. Viktor Hovland continues his really good form from last year into this season. Harold Varner's made a bunch of cuts in a row dating back to last season and this season, so I do like him. Same thing with Andrew Putnam. He's been rocking and rolling. And then Sergio Garcia, yes. It seems like he's finally found his form. I don't really like that play too much. I kind of tend to stick away from Sergio because you never know when he's going to blow up and kind of have a disaster going. But those are going to be the guys that are in good current form right now. All right, so let's start off the player pool here. I'm going to touch on some of the high-tier guys a little bit more than I typically would. So we'll start off here with Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas has finished T36 here, and he won it in 2017. Overall, he's been playing really well. He's going to be a good stat fit for us this week. I don't love the play, but I don't hate it. He's been scoring a lot. That's what I do like. Brooks Koepka obviously won it last year. You can play him if you want to. We know he's kind of risky at non-major events, I guess, to pay off his price point. Hideki finished T18 here last year. He is one of the better stat fits. He doesn't really bogey too much, which is something I'm looking at this week just because there's a ton of hazards. There's a ton of ways to find trouble, but I'm also looking at those guys that can go out and score. That is definitely Hideki. If we're looking at the short-term stats or long-term stats for Viktor Hovland, tremendous stat fit right now on this season. He's top 10 in total driving, ball striking, strokes gained total, and par 5 scoring, and also bogey avoidance, so we really like that. Tommy Fleetwood's kind of a guy that, I like to play on full tournament field events because he just makes cut. I think it's like 24 straight now. But other than that, it's kind of mixed results with him. We know he can go out in top 10. If not, it's probably going to be a top 20 this week. So really not too bad if you want to pay up for him and play it safe. Colin Morikawa, I do like as a play as well. So far in the year, T42 and T10. Other than that one disastrous 70-second finish on his last round, his most recent round, he's been really good, so I do like that play. Sanjay M on T41 here last year, his first time playing it. He's going to be a little bit more adjusted to it. I think we can project him to at least be a top 25 finish. Decent stat fit. I wish it was a little bit better. He's T18 and birdie or better percentage. Not playing too poorly, though. He's still continuing his form from last year. Rafa Corbella there, you guys just saw that recent form. I really like that play, recent form-wise. T3 and a T11 here in the last 2 years. Jason Day, more of a course history thing. T5, T11, we don't really know where his game's at, so it's tough to gauge how much we should play him. Gary Woodland, this course is set up for Gary Woodland style of play. A ball striker, turtle driver, a guy that's going to go out and score a lot, especially on par fives as well. That's a play I really like. He finished second here last year, and the year before that, T40. So I think Gary Woodland's going to be a strong play. Cameron Smith here, relatively okay, good form. But he had a he had a 7th finish here last year and a 3rd overall finish the year before that. So far this year, he's a decent stat fit. He's T13 and that birdie or better percentage. Matthew Wolff here, dating back to his one tournament, short-term stats I'm talking about, best stat fit in the field. He doesn't have any course history here, but this actually should be a course that lines up for him pretty well. I kind of think we're getting a decent amount of savings for him. Joaquin Niemann, it's tough to really gauge him right now because once a player's coming off of a victory, it's tough to gauge kind of their mindset. But he had a T36 finish here last year. This is also going to be a good setup for Joaquin Niemann if he can keep his, ball hitting the fairways or relatively hitting the fairways. Andrew Putnam's going to be a play that I really do like. T29 finish here last year, setting up really well. T10 in par 5 scoring. Driving it accurately, he's not making many bogeys, and he's scoring a lot. I like that play. Looking at Ches Reavie there, decent stat fit, good course history, T7 and T15, sets up well for him if he's playing like he normally does. Dylan Fratelli's a play that I like a lot. This guy is a guy that can go out and score. So we get 4 rounds of Dylan Fratelli. I like that a lot, especially at this price point where, paying down a little bit. He is 8th in birdie or better percentage. So that's just a play that I like. We don't have to worry about him having his disastrous round or 2. He's just going to go out and score. Ian Poulter, not a bad play. Decent course history, T10, T15, so we do like that. Harold Varner's a play that I like quite a bit, actually. Obviously, we know his recent form has been very solid. Really good stat fit for this price point. We can continue to ride the hot hand with that. T26 here. In the first time it was played here. Sung Kang has good course history as well. I don't love the play too much, but he's a decent stat fit, okay, recent form. His 2 finishes here have been T29 and T54. Nate Lashley is a guy that, we know he can go out and score. We saw that top 10 finish already on this season. Don't love the play, but obviously these value plays, you got to be a little bit more risky. I'd rather take the risk on someone that can go out and score. One of those players would be Keith Mitchell. Obviously, we know Keith Mitchell's a guy that can go out and score. Look at his one tournament this year, 76 and then 68. That's pretty crazy to me. Then the last one I'm going to touch on is the Winona State man, sort of. Troy Merritt. He's a guy pretty much also that can go out and score when he's playing well. He could easily, if he's playing well, he could easily go out in top 10. If he's not, he's probably going to finish T60. But when you're looking that low, that's kind of what you want. So if he's hitting the ball, striking it like he normally does, don't mind that as a play. But there's going to be a lot of variance, especially in the small field. So kind of play it safe with your bankroll. Kind of just play it for fun. Maybe play the players that you like. But I'm going to be targeting a lot of scores, taking a little bit more risk this week than I typically would on a full tournament field event because you need a little bit more upside in your player pool to really go out and do well. So. All right, that's all I have for you guys for this video for the CJ Cup. Please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you want to join the PGA DFS membership, it's $5 a month. Great value for that PGA DFS membership. You can click the link in the description below if you'd like that. If not, let's just keep cashing. Thanks, guys.